Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a review of the Wallhack VA-005, the 5th generation of Wallhack mousepads. They released a control variant as well, but this is the only one they sent me. I don't know about other reviewers. So yeah, this is the smooth speed version. I will just be calling it the Skypad 5.0 for the sake of simplicity rather than the Wallhack VA-005. And yeah, naturally it makes sense to compare this to the Skypad 4.0, but the way I see the 5th generation is more of a response to the smooth, fast, like slim pads on the market. They do keep it uncoated, and yeah, in a way based on how the new version is marketed, you would expect it to like completely solve glass mouse pads. And while it is like a smoother, softer feeling glass to the touch, and there definitely is less sound, just lower friction, less feedback in general, like there is some merit to what they mention, but it's just not a totally new glass pad experience. Yeah, this pad is the Phantom. I was getting asked to compare the new Skypad to it, and this just has a lot less resistance in general. Like, there's nothing dynamic friction-wise that is really going to stop your mouse, whereas on the new Skypad, it does feel, while they do advertise that there's like minimal points of contact with the surface, it does feel like when you're making a straight line, there is some assistance. Like, there is some type of a balanced feeling on this pad. It's not the fastest glass pad I've ever used just in terms of pure speed. The Phantom, the Guardian, what was it called, the Beast, like pads like that with a coating are much faster and also much better on the skin. Yeah, I don't think this is unusable without a sleeve. I know a lot of glass pad users have accepted that you needed a sleeve. I found it interesting that in all of the marketing, there's nothing about how the surface actually interacts with your skin. There was stuff about how the thinner edges and just the tapered edge design help with comfort. And yeah, compared to the 4.0, because it has a bit of a more frosted feeling, at least on this Miku design that I have, I always have had the conspiracy that the printed Skypads are less smooth than the standard versions, but this is frosted. My arm never really is able to like, my skin isn't as smooth and sticky on the pad at any point, so I just have like better motion in Fortnite. And in general, I do find this to be a bit more controlled when it comes to dynamic friction. It's important to remember that I'm not a glass mousepad main or like a huge enjoyer of them, and my perspective is a bit different. I'm fine with using like larger skates on these pads. I know some people are like dots only. I did use the dots that actually come with this mouse. They also include a black set, which is a bit more controlled. They only do include 4 of these. It's like a sample situation. They do feel pretty good though, very silent, a nice amount of control considering this is a 30-gram mouse. But yeah, it's just not like this has the lowest initial friction, the lowest dynamic friction. It just kind of like strikes a good balance. Definitely does play faster than the 4.0 though, and it might be because I used the 4.0 for nearly a month straight that one time, but I'm just more comfortable with that surface in game. But if you are somebody who wants like a super speedy, low feedback surface for like a tracking heavy game or whatever you play, I do think this is a surface I could recommend at $130 though. But yeah, like I said, this is balanced somewhere between the Skypad 4.0 and then like the fastest coated glass pads on the market. So it's by no means like my only recommendation, or I think like this generational leap that has made me a glass pad lover. I actually have this clip that just perfectly encapsulates my experience with it. Like, it feels good, I'm able to play well, but then I just drone out. Like, there's always the moment of droning out on a glass mouse pad. And yeah, this pad's case where they advertise this like crystal pyramid-like structure that minimizes contact points, and every skate really is smoothed out. Like, you're not going to feel a lot of texture from the surface. So that makes it even worse if you're using or not even worse, but like worse in that aspect for me. And yeah, it's not like the 4.0 is this crazy rough textured hybrid pad, but that really is the big difference between these two surfaces, is just the much smoother, softer feeling on the 5.0. And on something like the Phantom, it also has a less smooth surface. There's like this little grit. It's honestly almost like there's these little wheels, and every time you move the mouse, it just speeds up. You kind of have to assess glass mouse pads like a schizophrenic person to really like make sense. And yeah, it's even noticeable from audio feedback that the Skypad 5.0 really just doesn't have as much like surface texture and feedback. So that is the real advantage. I can't think of a like softer feeling, faster glass pad. So maybe that's the niche it's carved out. But I wouldn't say at 130 it's like throw your money at it compared to the rest of the GlassPad market. It definitely does offer some improvements, like spec-wise. The size is slightly larger than the 4.0. It's slightly thinner. The edges are better on your forearm. Like, I really doubt anybody, sleeve or no sleeve, will have an issue with the pad feeling raised, but potentially surface, like just palm finger stickiness, depending on if you sweat, your mouse grip, all of that stuff. But yeah, really, I can say this was just all around too fast and like smooth for what I want in a pad. It was usable. Some people, I'm sure, will love it, but just another GlassPad. That's kind of the way I see it. Yeah, you can see it has a pretty standard silicone backing. Very nice, no issues with the performance on that. And yeah, it's all around a good GlassPad experience. They have this like intense carrying case, like you're fucking moving around military equipment. So I'm sure that factors in. You get the sample skates. A code is like 10% off. It's not the worst deal ever, but I just don't really recommend GlassPads. The dust issue has not been solved, but it seems like it gets somewhat more minimized. Like, you see this little speck of dust right here. Honestly, no issues swiping over it with these Obsidian Air dots. Most of my testing was done with X-Ray Pad skates, Jade Ultras, Obsidian Donuts, like Jade Air dots, Obsidian Airs, just the whole X-Ray Pad lineup, more or less. And you may notice I didn't mention static friction much. I just think that is such a combo of skates and mouse weight on the GlassPad more than like the pad's features itself. Like, the static friction is extraordinarily low. I don't get too much of a slippery feeling, so I'm not going to say it's the lowest I've ever felt on a GlassPad. But with a speedy skate combo and a light mouse, you may find it like uncontrollably fast. Like when you get the mouse moving, you might have issues with a light mouse just clicking and having your mouse move by accident. So it really is just very situational. Most longtime GlassPad users know that by now. But any other questions you guys have, let me know. Not really too much for me to say. I just don't feel that strongly about it. If they could have solved the surface picking up dust and sticking on your arm issue while having all of the other features, I probably would have been praising this a lot. But the glass market, it's kind of saturated. But at the same time, a lot of popular glass options that people talk about, recommend, aren't like readily available or in stock. So that is a nice thing with Wallhack. And I will review the control version whenever I get my hands on it, but I doubt I will like that as much as I enjoyed this one, which, again, was not some crazy level. Like, this will not be staying in my main rotation. It won't be my, like, #1 recommendation for a GlassPad necessarily. But yeah, if you have a Skypad 4.0 and you're considering an upgrade, it's just really something that is not necessary. If you like some of the features this pad has to offer, I mean, go for it. It's like your money, your choice. But the whole premise of GlassPads was you buy one and it lasts forever, but a lot of GlassPad enthusiasts have just made it into like, you have a mousepad addiction, but instead of spending like $30 to $50, you spend like $100, $150. So it's really just this interesting thing I've never really understood. Glass mousepad fanaticism. But yeah, that's all. Like and sub if you enjoyed the video. Any comments, let me know. Peace out.